Oh man, I'm running late this week. I better check the emails. Ow. Wow, that's a tumble I won't be over soon. Welcome to the Zelda Universe Mailbag. Pile of letters, I guess. You guys sent me so much. I guess my mailbox was too full. But I have some questions to answer this week, so I'm gonna put that in the past, I guess. So let's get started answering your questions, shall we? First question comes from Shock and Money. It's a two-part question. The first is, what if the Zelda developers decided to hire a Hollywood film score writer to collaborate with Koji Kondo, who writes the score for the Zelda games? If this was ever a possibility, who do you think would be a good fit? Me and pretty much everyone else we answered decided that John Williams would be the best fit. Just because of his resume and the fact that he's done Indiana Jones, Star Wars, Harry Potter. The list is endless, and he has a pretty good track record when it comes to shooting film scores. So that would be the best fit. And the second question is, what if Nintendo pulled a Metroid and Zelda and handed development over to another studio? Just a quick answer, they've already done that. The majority of these Game Boy games were done by Capcom and other studios, the Oracle games and Minish Cap. That's what I'm talking about. Those are the only games that have been done in other studios, and they turned out very well, in my opinion. So it has been done before, so they aren't closed to doing that, so we'll see in the future if they do it again. The next question comes from Toadstool News. They write, I was wondering that the Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages and Seasons are normally put at the end of the Zelda timeline, but do you think it's possible that they're close to the beginning? When you think there are two new villains, there's Twin Rova, and they're trying to bring back Ganon, and there's also two new races. Every argument you just made puts it at the end of the timeline as well. You can have Twin Rova, who you defeated in Ocarina of Time, and you saw in Majora's Mask. They're trying to revive Ganondorf, who was also killed earlier in the series. You have the two new races that you never see again, probably because they're at the end of the timeline, and they don't exist until you see another game later in the timeline. And you also have to remember with the races as well. They exist in Holodrum, and the other one is slipping my mind at the moment, but they're in two different worlds other than Hyrule, so that's another reason why you don't see them in other games, but you never know. Next question comes from N Greenway. They write, I watched the last Mailbag, thank you, and someone asked if they think that a reoccurrence of the Majora's Mask timeline in a future game, meaning there's going to be a sequel. I was wondering, seeing as how Twilight Princess is my favorite game, do you think the Twilight civilization will return? I think that situation was resolved at the end of the game. As long as Midna rules over the people of the Twilight Realm, you probably won't see another game. Doesn't mean to say that Midna's going to lose her power again, just like she did in Twilight Princess. That's the whole point of the game. But it seems like the Twilight beings know what it's like to have a ruler like Zant in there, so I don't think they're going to let that happen again. It's not unlikely that it may happen again, but I don't see it happening again. The next question comes from Kaloon327, and it also comes from Space Time Bomb. They both ask about the sad tree at the beginning of Majora's Mask. They want me to answer if it's the son of the Deku Scrub Butler from the Woodfall Temple, Woodfall Palace, I should say. In the credits you see him crying in front of that tree, and all sorts of other clues. I do believe it is the Butler's son, just because of the clues you gave, the fact that he mentions to you before you go in the cave to the side that his son's been missing for a while, that he doesn't know where he is. You see him at the end of the game in the credits crying over that stump. What other reason why but that? And the fact that the Skull Kid's running amok in Termina with that stupid Majora's Mask. TVT writes, does the Mailbag answerer, who happens to be me right now, Think replacing the overworld with a travel minigame in Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks hurt or helped the quality of the DS game? I don't think it hurt it, it didn't help it, but it didn't hurt it. The fact that you don't have a huge overworld doesn't really hurt the quality. Just think Twilight Princess. It had a huge overworld, but it took away from the game, in my opinion. The fact that the dungeons and the puzzles were so better in those games, in my opinion as well. They utilized the DS and the items that you were given so well. That counteracted the fact that you had that travel minigame. You also have to remember that Phantom Hourglass had the Temple of the Ocean King, which we all know sucked. That took away from the overall quality of the game more than the boat did. So, the next question comes from J. Ticeman, and they ask, why is Hyrule so different in Twilight Princess to the Hyrule in Ocarina of Time? Because someone said there was a flood, but the flood is in the first timeline, and Twilight Princess is set in the second timeline. While this is true, both timelines are supposed to split off that same Hyrule. So you're going to get similarities and you're going to get differences. So I actually researched this a little bit, and I have my wonderful Twilight Princess strategy guide. So follow along, hopefully you can. And hold it this way. Now this is how you would normally see the map in the game. I'm going to hold it this way, and we're going to do it this way. Hyrule Castle is right here. So I'm placing that in the northern part of the map, just like it would be in Ocarina of Time. Hyrule Castle Town, Lake Hylia at the south. Those are the two landmarks I'm going to work with using the Ocarina of Time mask. So that's how it would be in Ocarina of Time. Lake Hylia would be at the south. If you go to the east, you get Kakariko Village, which is east of the castle. It's a little bit further east than Twilight Princess, but land shift, any other reasons could cause it. Go to the southeast, you get the Forest Temple, Faron Woods, the wooded area, the Forest Temple, which is where it was in Ocarina of Time. Now granted, it was the Kokiri Village in that game, but the Kokiris could have died out, something could have happened to them, but the forest still remained. You still get the monkeys too, that could be a reason. You got the Gerudo Desert to the south of Lake Hylia, which it's different than in Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time is to the west. It very well could be to the west because you have to get shot to it. But in this map it's to the south. So that's the difference. Zora's Domain is to the north of the castle. In Ocarina of Time, it would be south of Kakariko Village. It would be over here. So somehow it shifted up there. Then again, it's a different map. Two other main differences is the Lanayru province right here. The little connector from Zora's Domain to Lake Hylia. That doesn't exist in Ocarina of Time. It's also north of the castle. Northwest of the castle, which you don't see in Ocarina of Time. And the Peak Province, which you also don't see in Ocarina of Time. Those are two main differences. Zora's Domain being the third. So they are similar in nature if you hold it the right way, but you also have to remember that some things do change over time. The next two questions are simple questions. They're favorite questions, so let's get through them. The first one's from Dan. Out of all 14 Zelda games, which one do you find the hardest? Oddly enough, I found the original 2 the hardest. In an age where we're so used to being walked through a game, playing through the original and Adventure of Link is kind of difficult. Even today, 8-bit games were so different. They look so simple, but when you play them, they're so much difficult. The last question of the week comes from Luke. Aside from the ones that transform you, what was your favorite and least favorite mask in Majora's Mask? My favorite mask would probably be either the Blast Mask or the Great Fairy Mask, just because the Blast Mask is awesome. Your face turns into a bomb and you blow up, and you have instant bombs. My least favorite, I know it's a lame choice, but the Mask of Truth. just because it was lame in Majora's Mask because it wasn't Ocarina of Time. There's no real power to it. You just are able to talk to gossip stones and they give you useless information. That's all I have for this week. I know I did more than 5, but you know, I hope you enjoyed it. As always, send in your questions to the mailbag. Midweek mailbag. I don't know who it is this week, but you'll find out on Wednesday or Thursday. So enjoy their answers for you. I will see you next week.